I wore this shirt specifically because it makes it look like I haven't changed my shirt in a year. And that's exactly what I want people to think about me, I think. Happy New Year to all, and welcome to 2025 and all the things that we can look forward to. Now, I did do a video like this last year, and I kind of like these prognostication videos and guesses as to what the coming year might bring. So let's take a look at 2025 and what might be in store for us. But first, let's take a look at whether or not I got anything right from last year. Interestingly enough, I had two major predictions and a few other small ones. One of the big ones did not come true, but one really big one did. Now, again, I need to point this out. I have no insider information, and if I did, I really wouldn't tell you because that's a surefire way to make brands hate me. Now, the one I got wrong had to do with DSP and a possibility that we might move on from just built-in effects, and perhaps that we could start to use VSTs in some of our gear. And we'll get back into that in a bit when we switch to looking forward, but I think that might have been a bit ambitious of me. Now, as for the one that I got right, it was the idea of having more video options that would expand on the Streamer X. And well, Rode was the only one to answer that call, but answer it they did with a massive release, the Rodecaster Video. I was a bit surprised that no one else jumped on that train other than Mackie with the mainstream. More on those going forward soon as well. But speaking of that Mackie release, I did seem to foreshadow that Mackie was going to do something big for NAMM. And well, they dropped a huge release of a bunch of new stuff last year, including one of my new favorite boards, the DLZ Creator XS. So in reality, it was a pretty successful video for prognostication, if I do say so myself. So the best way to do this kind of stuff is to basically look at how the industry has been trending over the past year and see if that points in any direction going forward. And well, one thing jumps out at me as a trend over the past year, and that's silence. Yes, 2024 saw some pretty cool things released, but since January, there really hasn't been much. The usual cycle of podcast and home recording gear kind of hit a slow period. We did get that Rodecaster Video from Rode, nice deal, but its price tag and use case may have excluded many that weren't working on monetized projects. Now, there was a bit of a wireless rush at the end of the year that really surprised me, and I do love that there's so much competition in that space now. That can only mean good things for us creators. But other than Zoom's release of the Essential series, all the other companies were kind of quiet. And one very notable one was Mackie. Now, yes, I know, they did drop a massive load of gear in the new year last year, but I'm pretty sure that was all planned before the Friedman Group or Rode bought them. And the silence since then has been rather deafening, minus a refresh on their CR series of monitors. Now, of course, they haven't been sitting on their hands. Rode isn't known for doing that, and I can't imagine they picked up Mackie with the intention of just standing still. So then, what gives? And what does that mean? Considering the behemoth chungus that they released with the DLZ Creator and even the XS version and that big, beautiful screen, that has to come into play at some point, right? Now, over the holidays, that DLZ Creator was heavily discounted, meaning there might be some movement there. Usually you don't see those kind of discounts unless the lineup is getting a refresh or it's just being discontinued. How all of this is going to go with Rode at the wheel? I can't even speculate at the awesomeness that might be around the corner for us. One thing is for sure though, I don't think we're going to be waiting long. Considering NAMM is just around the corner, this might be a big January like it was last year. As for Rode, I have no idea. It kind of all depends on the role that Mackie plays within the development cycle. Now, one thing I do think is coming from Rode, though, is an updated or expanded Streamer X. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the Streamer X needs a refresh, but I can see there being something that bridges the gap between the Streamer X and the Rodecaster Video coming out this year. Rode has never been one to leave gaps in the market, so I think that one's going to be plugged sooner rather than later before someone else can get on it. The only question left, though, is do they keep with the X branding, or is the Rodecaster branding just going to take it all over? As for the rest of the audio universe, I can only think that the handheld recorder market is kind of lacking right now. The Rode Interview Pro from last year was an amazing drop, but the added functionality from the handy recorders from Zoom and Tascam are still kind of unfulfilled. The best options for recorders are over 10 years old right now and well past needing a refresh. Tascam right now is kind of leading the charge with their Portacapture series, but still that full functionality that Zoom made popular with their Handy series is missing. Maybe we could see something like that to revolutionize the portable market. After the Essential series came out, I was sure Zoom was going to release a Pro version that was updated for 2024. I mean, it's still possible, though I kind of stopped holding my breath. I was going purple in the face. Now, before we're done, let's talk about that DSP stuff. I do think it's still coming, and I think it's the natural next step for podcasting and broadcasting boards. Perhaps, though, it was a bit overreaching last year, but I do think one thing is for sure. If we're ever going to get it, it's going to be coming out on the next iteration of boards. I'm not so sure that the infrastructure is in place to do it with what we have. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Anyways, that calls it for the prognostication for 2025. Did I miss anything? Super important. I want you to drop your guesses down below, and I want to see if any of us are right going into 2026, because maybe we can recap them next January. Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.